Hi there, this is Janet Roper, and I welcome you back to day 2 of the Facebook Live Challenge that I'm participating in. Yesterday was a lot of fun. Introduced myself. Looking forward to getting to know more of you, as a matter of fact. And in today's Facebook Live, what I'm going to be doing is answering a question that was posed on yesterday's video. And so bear with me because I've got my notes here. You're going to see me looking from side to side because the question is really an exquisite one. It's an important one, and I don't want to leave anything out. The question was asked, and forgive me, I'm probably going to really mess up your name, but the question was asked by Gitta Fjordbo. And her question was, I'd love to hear what makes an animist different from an animal communicator, and what has motivated you, what has shifted in you. How does that change take place? So what I'd like to start with is a couple of definitions first, because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with animal communicator, animal communication, at least how I practice it, how I define it, and animism, how I practice it, how I define it. So let's start with animal communication. And animal communication, an animal communicator is someone who connects intuitively with the animals. Now, the animals don't have to be in front of you. As a matter of fact, in animal communication, time and space don't exist. And that is what allows me to speak to animals on the other side of the world, or have those animals speak to me. So as an animal communicator, what I'm doing is I am intuitively connecting with the animals. They're human if they're domesticated. If they are domesticated animals, their human is there. And then the three of us, me and the animal and the human, have this wonderful conversation. And as an animal communicator, in animal communication sessions, what usually happens is that I am helping to solve a problem. I am helping to bring relationship between the human and the animal, between the animal and their human, okay? So I think if you think of animal communication or animal communicator as Dr. Doolittle, that's really going to help you understand what an animal communicator is and what it is that we do. So let's move on to animism, okay? And an animist. An animist is someone who practices animism. Now, the definition that I'm going to give you was written by my mentor, Kelly Harrell. And I'll be talking a little bit more about the program that I was in with her. But what she defines as animism is, it's one of the best definitions I've ever heard, I've ever seen. And it's one that I live by. Animism is considered the oldest religion. It's an ancient expression of awareness that is beyond the self. So when you are practicing animism, you are going beyond what your cosmology of the world is, what your view of the world is, into other views, into other perspectives. So an animist basically believes that everything has a soul, and that all souls are interconnected and can communicate with each other. And that's basically, I think, an agreement with an animal communicator, that all the animals have a soul and that we can all intercommunicate with each other, okay? Animism takes it beyond animals. We're talking plants, we're talking systems, we're talking stones, we're talking the weather, we're talking your car even, okay? Or your car keys or your teacup, that all of those items have souls and that we can intercommunicate. Now, where I find that the definition of animal communicator and animist differs, at least in my experience of it, is that all souls are equal. As an animist, all souls are equal. So what that means is I don't get to pull the human card anymore, okay? What that means, if I'm talking to the plant has their own agency or their own authority to say, hey, Janet, you know, I don't want to go there in the sun. I really do better in the shade. And so when you are connected at an intuitive level with that plant being, you are able to hear and to communicate with them and to build that relationship. I'm all about right relationship. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about that more in some other of these Facebook Live groups. So if you remember that as an animist, everything has a soul, all the souls are connected and they can intercommunicate, and that all the souls are equal. Boom, that's going to get you started. Animism is a very humbling path because, as I said, you can't pull the human card anymore. That we are all connected. That plant has just as much agency as I do. And just because I'm human, that doesn't mean that my agency takes precedence over the plant's agency. That's what relationship is about. So this is the story of my shifting. A little bit over a year ago, I finished a 2-year intensive shamanic intensive program, a practice. And it was with Kelly Harrell. And you can find her online at Soul Intent Arts. And I got into it because, I was an animal communicator. And it's like, well, yeah, that just makes sense. I'm also an Aquarius. It just makes sense to, find out more about connecting with the animals. And I thought that intensive was the way to go. And it was, but not in the way that I thought it was going to be. So a little bit over a year ago, I finished the 2-year intensive. I am now initiated as a shamanic practitioner. And I don't call myself a shaman because to me, the word shaman, it has lineage attached to it. And I'm from the Midwest, okay? I'm from Illinois. And you can't get more Midwest than Illinois, that area of the country as far as I'm concerned. And there's no shamans there. I mean, not of a lineage, okay? Not shamans who practice in their community because the community practices is there for them and supports them, okay? So I was thinking, well, how can I use this as, I want to use what I've learned in the intensive, but I don't want to call myself a shaman either. So I just, for the past year, literally, I just let it grow and sit within me. And during that time, it changed my perspective quite a bit, or my perspective changed quite a bit. And I started finding myself opening not only more to the non-physical realms, which is a shaman, that's what you do, but opening more to the realms, to the species, to all the sentient beings that we are connected here on Earth. And that just almost broke my brain, because I went in thinking that I knew what it was like to be connected to the plants, what it was like to be connected to the animals, what it was like to be connected to my car. But what I didn't realize, okay, and I think some others might find yourself in this place, maybe, but what I didn't realize was that I was going in looking at it from the human perspective, and how could I not? I'm such a good human, right? We're all good humans. So, since I started the intensive and in the year after finishing it, my perspective just really changed. It was like all of a sudden these blinders were taken off and this whole new kaleidoscope world of different sentient beings, how to connect with them, how to relate to them, how not to connect with them, how not to relate with them. How that really opened up to me. And, I expected that from the realms of the animals because, hello, I was used to working with animals and they were used to me. But I was, and somewhat to the plants and to the trees and to the grass, to nature, I was somewhat expected to it. Where it really broke my brain was in thinking of technology as a sentient being, or thinking of an educational system as a sentient being, or thinking of a political system as a sentient being. And then I got to thinking about the inanimate objects, like the house you live in, thinking of that as a sentient being. And the car, the furniture in your house, if you have a musical instrument, thinking of that as a sentient being. So as this perspective changed, and my brain just kept breaking, like from day to day and expanding. It was like seeing the world with a different lens, through a different lens, which I really was. I'm not going to say it was easy, because it wasn't, because it was a stripping off of who I was, who I thought I was, and where I thought I was going. It was really a stripping down and really learning, and I'm still learning. It's a practice, okay? It's not like, Janet, you learn these 10 things and it's checked off. There you go, boom, right? It doesn't work like that. It's a practice. It's something you learn every day. For instance, with technology, okay, I thought that I worked well with technology, and I still think that to a certain point. And I was talking to a couple of friends online, and they are just they see technology as a friend of theirs. And I see it as a tool. And after we had that conversation where they were talking about seeing technology as a friend, an equal partner, and I confess that I see technology as a tool, okay, my brain broke again. What can I say? So now I'm working on how to become in right relationship with technology. So I think it's fair to sum this up that as I made the shift from animal communicator to animist, and like I say, I'm still shifting, I think it's fair to say that I'm learning how not to deal the human card, how not to just assume that because I want to move a plant to a different place that they're going to be okay with it, or assume that because the fires are going on in Montana that I can go in and talk to them and tell them to change their ways. Well, hello, no. At least not the way I practice that, okay? Because they're sentient beings and they have their reasons for what they're doing. What I do find is that as an animist, it connects me more to all of creation, all of connection, than what an animal communicator did. I will also say that starting out as an animal communicator for me was just like the best way to start. So I started my path to animism many years, 20 years or more ago, actually probably my whole lifetime, because of my love and connection for animals. So that's my story, and I'm going to stick with it, at least for now. Granted, if we talk again next year, my story might very well change because there will have been a year of experience, a year of practice under my belt. But for right now, that's my story, and that I'm sticking to it. So if you have any questions, please, leave them here in the comments. I will come back and check, and I will make sure to get your questions answered. As a matter of fact, let me do that right now, because like I said, I have my notes going on. Oh, hi, Annabelle. Hi, Maggie. Hey, it's nice seeing you folks here. Thank you for joining us. But if you'd like to find out more about this, I invite you to visit my website. My website is janetroper.com. Okay, and I'm so excited. I mentioned this yesterday. I'm so excited because it's a new website and it's way easier to navigate and to find things, okay? So I'm going to take you to the free part of my website. So go to janetroper.com. Up at the top, the very right-hand corner, you're going to see Work With Me. Click on that. And, as websites do, that will magically take you to that page. Scroll down, and you will find a place that says Starting Out. Click on that, okay? Then again, you're going to be magically whisked away to another another website page. And there, scroll down, and you will find my treasure trove of free, on-the-house, online resources. And those are going to be my blog. They're going to be, of course, the website. They're going to be the 2 podcasts that I do, and that's my dog, Max. And the 1 podcast that I do, I co-host with 2 lovely ladies, and it's about everyday animism. That's the title. The second podcast that I do is Reawaken Right Relationship. And that is one that I do myself, that I host. And we have an episode coming out tomorrow, and we're going to be talking to Raven Mini Voices about dragons. So if you love dragons, make sure that you go over there and check that podcast. You can also go to my YouTube page, my Facebook page. I got everything over there, and it's all free. So anyway, go over there, check it out. Thank you so much for helping me with this Facebook challenge, Facebook Live challenge. I have to admit, it's a step for me. It's a step for me. So I really appreciate your help in asking me questions. And, make me toe the line, folks, please, because that's how I'm going to learn how to articulate what people want to hear. So I really want to thank Geta. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but I thank you, Geta, for being the one who ask the question of what makes an animist different from an animal communicator and what my story was. So thank you for asking that and giving me the opportunity to share. I will see you all tomorrow. Take good care. Yes, I will do that, Maggie. I will place links here. That's a brilliant idea. So thank you. I'll be back in a few minutes with the links. I'm still not sure how all of this works. Okay, enough rambling. Goodbye. Take good care.